Hey everyone, Pastor Curtis here with another quick question video for today. Andrew asked me about abortion according to the Bible. And my answer for this question is going to be mostly reading you Bible verses. I don't really think I need to say much because I think the Bible speaks really well on this topic. So listen to these verses and see if you can figure out what God thinks about abortion as you listen to these verses. In Exodus 21, verse 22, it says this: If people are fighting and hit a pregnant woman, and she gives birth prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows. But if there is serious injury, you are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. So if the woman dies from the assault and the baby lives, or if the baby died and the woman lives, they were instructed to take life for life. That means if the woman's baby died because of whatever happened, because of those men, then the men who attacked her would have been put to death. In Psalm 139, verses 13 through 16, the psalmist says this: For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. And to Jeremiah, God says in Jeremiah 1:5, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. So God literally claims that in the womb, He is putting us together and that He knew our unformed bodies. And not only that, but Ephesians 1:4 through 5 tell us that before the creation of the world, God chose us, which means He knew our names, He knew what we would look like, and He knew who we would grow to be, and that we would grow to belong to Him. Here's the verses themselves, Ephesians 1:4 through 5. For He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. In love, He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ in accordance with His pleasure and will. And the last couple verses that I want to share are from Genesis 1:27, which says, So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. And Exodus 20:13 is one of the 10 commandments, and it says, You shall not murder. And 1 John 3:12 does a job explaining the murder of Abel by Cain. In verse 12 it says, Do not be like Cain, who belonged to the evil one and murdered his brother. And why did he murder him? Because his own actions were evil and his brothers were righteous. These verses point to me two facts. God created us in His own image. That means that we are bearers of God's image, and because of that, we are special and sacred to God. And secondly, those other verses and many more in the Bible show us that murder or taking someone's life is wrong. And it's wrong because every person is created in the image of God. And not just taking other people's life, but taking your own life. Or as a mother, maybe taking the life of someone growing inside of you. Those people, we're created in the image of God. These two facts together can be found spoken by God Himself directly to Noah in Genesis 9:6, where God says, Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. So, a summary of those verses teaches us these things. 1. A law of God was that if someone caused a premature birth and the baby died from it, then the criminal should be put to death. 2. God pieced us together in our mother's wombs, and He knew who we would become. 3. Before the creation of the world, God knew our names. He knew what we would look like. He knew who we would marry. He knew when we will die. And He knew the people that would be adopted into His family as believers and as Christians. 4. We are made in the image of God, which makes us very, very special to God. 5. God tells us not to murder. 6. Murdering people is our own issue of evil, like it was for Cain murdering Abel. 7. Murder is wrong because we are made in the image of God. So God doesn't want us to take human life. So, the Bible teaches us very clearly that life begins at conception and that God highly values human life. I hope all of you will highly value human life too. God bless you, and I hope this video helps you to understand what the Bible says about abortion.